Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Zelda Speedruns. We're a little bit special here today. We have the grand finals of the Wind Waker Any Percent No MSS tournament. A best of 5 race. We'll be doing 2 races for you here today between Minimini and Aloakirby. Joined on comms today by Gymnast86 and by Snacks. How are you two doing?
Doing pretty good. Excited to see some non-manual super swim action.
Oh yeah. Should be getting going here pretty soon.
Yeah, so this is the grand finals best of 5. Minimini is coming into this best of 5 with a 1-game advantage because he's coming in from the winner's bracket, and Aloha has fought his way through the loser's bracket and has come back up to grand finals. Both runners, of course, very good. Minimini has the current world record for the category at a 1:13.35, but Aloha's not far behind him with a 1:14.17. So,
yeah, and as we've seen throughout this tournament, even though Mini's technically maybe a little bit faster, it doesn't matter during these races. One thing goes wrong and the other person can take a game. So, hopefully not. Hopefully we see 2 clean runs, but.
yeah, so the runners should be starting sometime soon. I'm just waiting for one of them to ready up still.
Yep, looks like they just got that going, so.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yep. And yes, as Cubs is pointing out in chat, get ready for the most action-packed start to a Zelda game you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
AKA 5 minutes of cutscene.
It's going to be a tight race through the intro cutscene here.
Who can tech smash faster? Alright, so I guess we should probably explain what exactly does any percent no MSS mean. So MSS stands for the manual super swim. If you've seen pretty much any other run of this game that's a world record or whatever, usually you'll see them jump off the platform and start pausing and turning Link around every frame. But that trick is kind of hard, so we have no MSS, which is kind of our beginner category. I put air quotes above that because it's still really tough. But basically you do the entire game through intro, and then once we get to the Wind Waker, we basically just do any percent.
Yeah, so without doing a manual super swim, it typically takes a little more than about a half hour to get to the Wind Waker. If you do perform the manual super swim, you can get to the Wind Waker in about 10 minutes, so pretty huge difference there that you get to skip a lot of if you get the Wind Waker with a manual super swim. You can't skip all of it, though, so even with the Wind Waker, we still have to go back and, for instance, beat Forsaken Fortress 1 to make sure that the game does not crash later. Because of honestly kind of stupid reasons, but that's just how the game works, so that's what we gotta do.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we could skip Forsaken Fortress 1, that would certainly save a few minutes in any percent, but
So even though the manual super swimming trick is, of course, banned in this category, there are some other tricks that are also banned. The actor unloading glitch, which can be used to do a lot of crazy things, is also not allowed in this category, and neither is Puppet Ganon Skip. which you would see in, for instance, like the any percent world record. And it is a trick that like could be done in this category, but it's not very beginner friendly. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's
And
a
because-
really long, it's a long hover, and really, it's just a really complicated glitch. But so we just ban it for now. But all right. I'll see. Yes, you may see some of the runners in chat. Unlike maybe like Wind Waker Randomizer or some other tournaments and stuff, you'll see we allow runners to watch restream because really, it doesn't matter that much. You're not really cheating by looking at your opponent's stream. So
yeah, it's more just like a personal preference if you want to know where they are or not.
Yeah.
Because that can definitely affect like your mentality and how you play.
Very true, Mini. You're almost. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a ton to talk about with intro. It's just a lot of text.
Yeah, the players don't actually have to give an input to the game until roughly the 4-minute and 45-second mark, so just kind of have to leave the game running.
Yep. This is usually the bathroom break if people do multiple runs in a row. Or one of the bathroom breaks, I should say.
We do allow the skipping of the intro cutscene if you're doing like speedrun attempts for the game, but for the purposes of like race time and restreaming, we just watch the intro for tournament races.
Yep. But we're almost there.
And now the runners get control and side hop off the tower so that they can do some very high octane rolling over to Grandma's house so they can watch another cutscene.
Yeah. So this is one of the biggest issues with this category for some people. Early game is really boring. It's just a lot of roll here, watch cutscene, save warp.
I did notice that both runners got fast rolls out of the water, though, so neither of them lost time there.
Yep.
There's a lot of small optimizations, like despite the route basically just being roll to cutscene, save warp, roll to cutscene, save warp. There are a few like optimizations that go into doing that effectively.
Yeah, and we'll see that in a little bit when we see the sword tutorial. There is a fast cycle you can get for it. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit when we get towards there, but...
Alright, so now that our runners are dressed properly for their speedrun, they can finally continue.
Wait, he's not in his pajamas? What is this?
I mean,
I
think New Game Plus is banned, so...
Come on, mods, let's make it a category. New Game Plus, no MSS. No, I'm referencing the fact that if you do the manual Super Swim, you can skip all these cutscenes, so you get to do the vast majority of the run in Link's pajamas.
Ooh, Minimini getting the arrow wave. So that puts him behind by about 2 seconds here. So, when you enter this cutscene, if Errol is waving when the cutscene begins, the game will actually wait until she stops waving to proceed with the cutscene.
Yep.
Because I guess it's waiting for her to be in like just her like 2 hands on the railing animation for a certain amount of time before it continues. And if she's waving, then that doesn't happen. So,
Yep.
Minimini losing just those few seconds to the RNG, unfortunately.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. It's just straight up RNG. It sucks, but hopefully 2 seconds won't cost him the race, but you never know.
Yeah, it'd be. I think what's the closest race we've had this tournament so far? I know that me and EJ finished 20 seconds apart in our last race.
I don't. Off the top of my head, I can't remember too many like sub 5 or like any sub 5 second finishes or anything. I don't know. Maybe someone in chat can go through and look through it, but
Yeah, it would be very surprising if the runners only finished like 2 seconds apart, considering like generally how punishing mistakes in the game can be, and also with the RNG that's to come later.
Yep. Alright, but we're gonna see Aloha start up the sword minigame here, or I guess tutorial. So there's actually a kind of optimal way to do this. Link tends to be really slow if you do certain sword combos. He just does a bunch of jumps and stuff, and so you'll see both runners doing 3 slashes and then a backslash for this first one. And there's a whole set of what you have to do, but what we're really trying to get is the fast parry. So on one of these you have to do parry where usually you have to wait for the enemy to attack you, and then Link will roll out of the way and do all that. These runners are trying to set up so you don't have to wait for that. So we'll see if they can get it.
Oh, Mini unfortunately missing the quick spin there and getting knocked down. Aloha missing the quick parry.
Yep.
Mini getting it though, so Mini's now caught back up almost. So the way that the quick parry works is that if you perform the parry on one of the first 2 frames that it's possible to perform it, the next parry will come up instantly after you're done with the first one, so you don't have to wait the extra 3 seconds for it to appear.
Yep, so nice little time save there for Minnie to catch back up, and we're pretty much even. Aloha's maybe a second or 2 ahead.
Yeah, so now the runners are rolling up to the Forest of Fairies. Trying to make sure that they don't bonk into anything and make sure that they have optimal rolling speed. Thankfully, it's not hard to keep optimal rolling speed in Wind Waker. As long as you have like the fastest speed in a roll, as long as you do the next roll, within the first 2 frames that you can do the next roll, you just keep the speed.
Yeah. And really, it's just a timing thing. You get used to it as you run the game more.
So now the runners are going to use their sword to quick spin the rupee inside the log there, so they don't have to crawl through it.
Yep. Then we're going to see him do a little side hop here. Gets that guy out of the way, because he can be kind of annoying trying to climb up that log.
Both get exactly 3 rupees from the grass before the log.
Yep.
And the reason they're getting rupees is so they can buy the sail later.
Yep, we need 80 rupees. Hopefully we get some more RNG. Although I got okay RNG, I would say.
Oh, Mini
got
did not get
tragic
any.
RNG.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
But that's not the end of the world. He'll just have to open up, I guess depending on what route he takes, he might have to open up an extra pot on Windfall or something. Yeah, we need 80 rupees. We're going to be grabbing 40 in Forsaken Fortress. Maybe a couple more. I don't know exactly which way these guys go. But...
Yeah, Mini also lost a little bit of time due to not quite getting the fast fight strategy with the Bokoblins.
Yep.
There's like a precise way that you can swing your sword such that you manage to hit each of the bokoblins 3 times really quickly, and then you can finish them off with the quick spin. But the inputs to do for that are a little bit precise.
Yeah. So far, Aloa's had a slightly cleaner run, but really, we're so early in this thing that our major time losses really aren't up yet. You know, losing a couple seconds here really isn't the end of the world. But now we get, like, 5 more minutes of riveting cutscenes.
Yeah, so generally, the runners are looking to obviously leave outset as fast as possible. And most of the top runners can pretty consistently leave outset in less than 16 minutes. I think the best I've ever seen is like a 15:42.
Yeah, that's insanely fast.
Yeah. Generally the time will be around like 15:50 if it's clean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't actually know what the fastest one from this tournament has been. It's probably maybe like a 15, low 50s maybe, but
Loa getting the clean jump slash over the fence.
Mini not quite.
Oh,
no.
I'm talking to Pot Lady.
Yeah, so what Aloa got, if you jump slash a certain way, those trees just kind of push you forward more. So it's a little faster than landing on that post and having to jump off. Now we get to get the shield from Grandma and get to hear the set.
So a 15:50 from Aloa.
Yep.
And roughly a 15:56 from Mini. At least on like their own timers.
Yeah. Yes, one of these minor things. Runners usually have different splits too, so I know a lot of people tend to split at the end of outset here, but
Yeah, like I don't split until spoils bag.
I think that's what most people do. It's just such a nice, easy spot to. Yeah, both runners getting sub 16 outsets. That's pretty solid. I mean, I don't know how these guys' nerves are, but I know I would be pretty nervous if I were here.
Yeah, and we'll probably see the runners stay together at least until they get the Wind Waker, more or less.
Yeah.
Since that's when things start to become very tricky to do very fast.
Yeah.
And is where the mistakes start to become very punishing. Like, so far, you know, the biggest mistake is, like, you miss quick parry, or, like, you accidentally knock down the Bokoblin slightly too fast. Or something like that.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, having small mistakes here, okay, maybe you lose a couple seconds, not the end of the world when some of these tricks later on will lose you minutes. Hopefully not for these runners, but there's always a chance. And so now we get to move on to what's affectionately known as ropes 1. This is pretty much the easier ropes. You just kind of hold up and press A.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of tricks to rope game 1 here.
No.
I guess if you're really cool, you can side hop from the last platform to where Nico is instead of jumping. If like your angle is good going into it.
Yeah. But I've seen it in this tournament where runners tried to do that and then fell and lost time, so
Yeah.
we'll see if either of these two go for it here. Aloha gets it.
Yeah, Mini not going for it because
yeah, that angle looked a little bit weird, so I think he would have made it, but it would have been close. Alright. So we're picking up the spoils bag here. Really we don't need the spoils bag, but we have to do it just to set the game, or keep the game going forward.
Yeah.
In reality, the spoils bag probably will actually end up losing you time, because you'll accidentally pick up something when you break an orb, but
My favorite is when you kill the Bokoblin at the end of Forsaken Fortress and it drops a joy pendant right in front of the door. That's always a fun one.
yeah, especially because there's really nothing to do. Alright, so weirdly enough, it is actually important that these runners have good text matching here. So as you may have caught a little glimpse, there are lights here at Forsaken Fortress 1. If you get caught by the light, you'll get thrown in jail. Now this light cycle that they're on actually stays during this cutscene. So this cycle that they're currently on is going. So we want to go through here as fast as we can to get a better cycle. But knowing these guys, they're both really good at text mastering, so I don't think it'll be an issue.
Splash.
You said it wrong, it's sploosh.
Oh, right, excuse me.
Right.
Alright, so right here the runners have to hit the Gossip Stone trigger that's in front of them. Not sure why Aloha went, like, forward there.
Yeah, usually you see what Minnie did where he kind of goes a little bit right, but...
And so it is possible to skip this trigger, but getting that Gossip Stone trigger is what allows you to get bombs later on, so it is necessary to touch.
Yep. And as you saw there from Aloha, these lights are kind of weird where you have to be, I think, in them for a full second before you'll get caught. So as you saw there, he was hit by the light, but he didn't actually get caught. In HD, I believe they've made it so it's basically if the light ever touches you, you get caught instantly.
Yeah, I think in the original game, it's just like the area that actually catches you is smaller than what the light shows. But in
Oh,
HD,
maybe.
they just made them match like together.
That could be. I don't really get it. Lights are weird.
Oh, Aloha getting weird AI from the Bokoblin here. Okay.
Yeah, speaking of weird.
Usually the Bokoblin will follow you over to the stick pot, but that Bokoblin was like, nah, I'm not interested. Aloha's side. So Mini caught up by a few seconds there.
Yeah, that's a unfortunate thing. Not the end of the. Yep, and we do have to kill that light there, because at the end here you do have to sidle along a wall, and if you don't kill that, you'll get caught and get thrown in jail, and it's really annoying. Also, Aloha showing off, if you sidle into the doors, it actually saves like a frame or two, because you just get the cutscene of him opening the door. And we're just gonna walk right by these moblins. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, so the when you put on a barrel, you of course can you can move around a lot closer to where the moblins are, but that effect still applies even after you've taken off the barrel for about 5 seconds or so.
Something like that.
So we sort of, I think the reason the devs did that was because they didn't want you to get instantly caught when you took off the barrel and a moblin was facing the other direction or something like that. So that invincibility stays for those few seconds after you take off the barrel.
Yep, we get to abuse the devs being nice.
And the runners are also doing a technique known as quick sidling here on these sidle gaps, where they're basically, instead of just holding left directly the whole time, they're mashing left. Because this will just result in Link's sidle animation going faster.
Yeah, there's sometimes you'll see where he'll do kind of like a double sidle. It's really weird, but hey, we have a sword. I would say it saves probably a couple seconds, maybe.
Yeah, quick sidling saves a couple seconds.
Oh no, it's faster. It's just it may not look much faster. All right, so both runners are basically even here. Thankfully, nobody got caught, which we've seen a few times here in the tournament, and it always feels bad because it's like a minute and a half, depending on where you get caught. But yeah, now we got a nice little more cutscenes.
The reason that we have to finish Forsaken Fortress in this game is because the game will not load in the King of Red Lions anywhere in the game until you beat Forsaken Fortress 1. And there are some cutscenes that rely on the King of Red Lions being properly loaded so that the cutscene can proceed with its animations and stuff. So if that's not the case in a later cutscene in the run, then the game will just crash. So that's why you have to beat Forsaken Fortress here.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but really in this category, I don't know if there would ever be a way to skip FF1 without manual super swims.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Also, shoutouts to the Wildebeest for the raid.
Welcome on in, everybody.
Welcome into the grand finals of the Wind Waker Any Percent No MSS tournament between Minimini and Aloakirby. Our runners are basically dead even right now. almost half an hour into this roughly 1 hour, 20-minute category. So,
Yep.
the tight race.
They're basically dead. No. Yep, we're almost at the point where the game gets kind of glitchy, but just gotta quick do one more thing here, and then I always kind of say the run doesn't really start until you get Wind Waker, just because all of this is so you do it all the time, and almost always people don't reset until after Wind Waker.
Oh, okay, well, Mini getting better RNG with the flower rupees here.
I don't know. And Minnie accidentally talking to Ivan. What's his name?
Ivan is the head of the
Or
killer
Ivan's the
bees.
kid, yeah.
That's Anton, yeah.
Anton. I should know this. I run rando.
Yeah, Aloha having to get the extra rupee in the pot on the left there. He did not get good RNG in the flowers, which was because he took damage somewhere? I'm not sure where he took damage. But that caused the heart, or that caused the flowers to prioritize heart drops instead of rupees for him. Because he was 1/4 heart away from full health. The game was like, oh no, you need hearts, and so it gave him hearts.
Yeah, I don't really notice. Maybe the Bokoblin hit him at the end of FF1?
Yeah, it pretty much had to be that, but if that happened, I didn't notice.
I didn't know that set either, but we are seeing sail pumping here. So sailing in this game is really slow. But if you take the sail out and put it back out, or if you put it away and pull it back out, kind of in a rhythmic pattern like you see from Aloha, you'll actually get burst of speed, because when you first take the sail out, the game gives you a burst of speed. And so it makes sailing at least a little bit quicker. It's still slow. Mini is also going for the sail jumps here, another way to make it kind of faster, because you just have less time sailing on the water. But it's also really hard to do it optimally.
Yeah, ultimately, like, even if both runners did their respective sail pumping techniques perfectly, I think the difference would only be like 1 second.
Yeah, it's not much at all.
You just want to do some kind of sail pumping, because the sail pumping itself saves about 5 seconds over that journey.
Yep. Now we get to everybody's favorite theme in the game.
As a Mulgara stan, I tend to disagree with this.
Hey, you know what? I respect.
This music is very good, though. And unfortunately, we will not get to hear Mulgara in this run, so...
No. Stay tuned for the WaveCrash All Dungeons tournament.
Oh boy. I'm not sure that category is safe enough to...
You'd probably need you would have to make a specific route that everybody would have to follow that's safest, and even then.
Yeah, so now our runners are getting the Wind Waker item, which they will be able to do storage with. And storage is a very fun glitch, will allow us to do many wondrous things. So the runners are, of course, going to immediately get storage here by doing a Wind Waker dive and then canceling the Wind Waker 3 frames before it hits the ground. They're first going to store the King of Red Lion's text, and then they're going to do storage again so they can activate what's known as Camera Lock, which will allow them to do a glitch known as Super Swimming, which is going to look very flashy, so if you're not comfortable with flashing screens, you might want to look away while they're doing this. So Aloa's the first one to be able to start it, so he's going to jump in the water, and he's going to hold roughly up on the control stick to turn around in water every single frame. And this is going to slowly build up speed so that he can then release the speed and shoot out towards Crescent Moon Island, where he's going to use the other storage that he got to open up the chest that's here and activate a glitch known as chest storage. He is kind of far away from the chest, so he's going to have to maneuver over to it a little bit, and he wants to make sure he avoids the blue chews so that he doesn't have the blue chews eat the storage. And now, with the chest storage, he's going to get back into the water and start another super swim, all the way over to Outset Island, with Minnie following closely behind him. And once he's at Outset Island, he's gonna we're gonna see the effects of the chest storage in play, because he's going to climb up the outside of the pirate ship that is still on Outset, by the way, due to the fact that for some quirky reason, the pirate ship is just on Outset after you beat Forsaken Fortress, as long as you don't reload the ocean at all, because the ocean is in a specific state that allows the pirate ship to be there after Forsaken Fortress. Oh, nice. He also gets a weird green flash. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
Yes. So, you also saw that he refilled air on the outpost on Poprin that Minnie also just did right now before releasing his swim. Aloa's very low on air here, so he's going to have to be... Okay.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah. So thankfully, with chest storage, the amount of collision checks that the game tries to apply to Link is reduced, so you can just kind of climb up really steep surfaces, like the pirate ship here, to get inside. And Minnie following close behind, was able to get on the pirate ship without much trouble.
Yeah, really clean swim from both of them. Yeah, so to kind of explain, for those of you who have ever played this game, they're like, why is that pirate ship still there? Well, once you finish Forsaken Fortress, the game actually goes into a special map, I believe it's called like Map 0 or something like that, where the game kind of just assumes like, oh, okay, we can just leave the pirate ship at Outset. There's no way you can get to it and get on top of it. But we're speedrunners. We know how to do it. We got the lovely ropes too. We're very creative with our name.
Yep. This one does have a bit of a strategy. Because we can't, swing and turn on the ropes at the same time, we jump at the first ones diagonally, so that we don't have to, turn on the first one. And then the runners also do a bit of a strategy here where they let go of the rope as they're swinging forward on it, and then re-grab it to get more speed for the rope swing. Because if they just tried to swing on the rope forward without that, they wouldn't quite have enough speed to jump to the final platform. So it saves having to do a rope swing there.
Yep. And we have our explosives. What is MSS? MSS is the manual super swim. So at the beginning of the run, you can do what's a glitch known as super swim from Outside Island to skip a whole bunch of early game stuff. But this category bans it because it's kind of our quote-unquote beginner category. So it's just the most accessible, and it makes it easier for new runners to kind of get into the game. And we decided to have a tournament of it.
Alright, so the next goal for our runners is they want to go get to the Deku Leaf at Forest Haven. And they're once again going to be using the Super Swim glitch to get over to Forest Haven. Once again, with storing some text beforehand, because if you store text in this game and then you cancel the text, like while you have control of Link, you will once again get storage. So what the runners want to do is they want to store the text, and then while the text is on screen, they want to get camera lock, and then cancel the text so that they have storage while they have camera lock. And this is necessary when super swimming to certain islands, such as Forest Haven, because Forest Haven has a cutscene that normally tries to play when you arrive at it, where the camera pans around and it shows you the island and whatnot. But the storage will skip that cutscene for us, which is necessary because you can't really watch the cutscene while you have camera lock enabled. Otherwise, the game is going to soft lock. So, getting the second storage is necessary there. And now the runners are attempting to do a ledge clip with camera lock to get inside of Forest Haven, and so that they don't have to need the grappling hook to like swing across the grapple spots to get in.
Yeah, there's an alternate you can do, known as the beetle dive. Whereas you kind of see on mini screen, there's a beetle ship there, and you can Wind Waker dive off of it. It's a bit slower than doing this, but a lot of beginner runners I know like to do that just because it's pretty.
And so now the runners are going to be taking a lot of damage here because they're partially setting up for a glitch known as a zombie hover that they're going to do in about a minute or two. But first, they are going to perform the Deku Tree cutscene skip. So normally, when you defeat all of the Choo-Choos on the Deku Tree's face, there's a cutscene that plays, which is about 2 minutes long, where the Deku Tree is basically like, he explains some lore to you, and then he also makes the Deku Leaf item appear. But that's a long cutscene, so we're going to try to skip it here. And what the runners are going to try to do is they're trying to get storage, and while they have storage, they want to void out in some way, in this case by getting crushed by the Deku Tree's chin. And while they're voiding out with storage, have the cutscene try to start. Because that's going to set the cutscene flag that says, like, you've watched the cutscene and put the leaf at the top of Forest Haven. Now, to achieve this, they also have to do this really weird strategy where they push these static Choo-Choos out of bounds. Because they bonked on the Deku Tree with storage, the Choo-Choos get put in this weird state that they then don't get out of, because this is supposed to be the state where, like, they're falling off of the Deku Tree's face. So Aloa's going to push the last one out of bounds here and then walk over to get crushed by the Deku Tree's chin. He timed pushing the last Choo out of bounds such that he would get crushed at the proper time by the Deku Tree's chin here. So if all goes well, he will get crushed, the game will try to start the cutscene, and then he will respawn standing up. That means that the cutscene skip was a success. And now he doesn't have to watch the cutscene. Mini also looks like he was good. He should spawn standing up, yep. Alright, so very good by both runners. And now they can do the zombie hover all the way up to where the Deku Leaf is. This is necessary because normally the game expects you to have the grappling hook here, but we don't have the grappling hook, so we instead have to resort to this trick known as zombie hovering to get all the way up to where the leaf is.
Yeah, so to kind of explain zombie hovering, basically when Link dies, you actually get, I think, it's either a frame or 2 frames to actually put in an input. So what you can do is you can do a jump slash during the death cutscene, but then the game realizes, like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be dead, so it tries to push you down. But if you mash B fast enough, you can kind of just keep doing infinite jump slashes, and then so you can start hovering up here. And so there's a nice little setup here to kind of line you right up with the tree. Aloa's looking good. Gets it, no problem.
And thankfully the game allows you to collect items when you're dead, so...
Yep.
We can just collect the Deku Leaf, and then instead of dying here, the runners are going to save warp, because save warping is faster than death warping in this game. And they always take you to the same place, so... just makes sense to use the save warp.
And the timing's not super tight on that save warp there, but occasionally you'll see a runner miss it slightly.
Alright, so now the runners are going to do storage, or double storage into a super swim again. This time they're going to be opening up the chest that's at the 5-star Isles, which is one quadrant, or one ocean sector, south and to the east. And they're going to use this chest storage to clip into a fairy fountain early. Specifically the Thorn Fairy Isle Fairy Fountain.
Yep.
So that they can get a quiver upgrade. Now, it might seem silly to need to get a quiver upgrade when the runners don't even have the bow yet. But the reason for this is because the runners will be getting a bow when they get to Ganon's Tower later in the run. But the bow that they get there does not automatically come with a quiver. So they won't actually be able to have any arrows if they just simply rely on that bow. So they need to get a quiver somewhere else, and in this case, somewhere else is Thorn Fairy Island. So
yeah, to answer this question in chat, Wind Waker has a mechanic where if you're under 3 hearts, the game will just heal you back up to 3 hearts whenever you save orb. So as you saw there, both runners were technically dead, but when they respawned, they had 3 hearts. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because it's a nice way to heal a little bit casually, but in terms of this run, you actually kind of want to be low health. But we see Alola gets to the island, and when you hit certain walls in this game are super thin, so when we have this chest storage kind of mini hitbox, you can kind of just walk through the side of the shell and break in early, because you're supposed to have the hammer for this, but getting the hammer takes so long.
Right, nice. So Alola was able to escape the fairy fountain quickly, and also kills the blue chew just so it doesn't get in the way. And then he's attempting to do probably the hardest iteration of storage in the run, known as peg storage. Right, and he gets it 3rd try, not too bad. But basically, if you roll up onto the peg and then pull out the Wind Waker on a certain frame, you'll be in the Wind Waker state, but then the peg will push you off, so that you're in the air and you technically are doing a Wind Waker dive. And then you can cancel the Wind Waker in midair at the right frame, and you can then get storage.
Yep. So we'll see Mini do it again here in a minute.
Yeah. And then the runners will be swimming over to the Cabana Island, where they're going to get double storage again here, except this time they're instead going to open up the treasure chest they're going to store first, because the treasure chest is just on the island. So, and it's a lot easier to open up a treasure chest when you're not in camera lock. So,
yeah. Theoretically, you could do this where you would clip into the island while super swimming to open the chest that way, but if anybody wants to do that in their runs,
Ooh, unfortunately, Alola fell all the way down. Link, for some reason, didn't grab on the edge. I guess it was too far to the right.
I guess. Also, I feel like it would have almost been faster just to cancel out the text and roll, but I don't know.
I can understand not wanting to have to get storage again.
Yeah.
Right. And also, the reason that the lights go out for some of these chests, but not others, is solely determined on if the chest has, like, the 7-second long cutscene that sometimes plays when you open a chest. If it's one of those chests, the animation for opening up that chest will kill, like, all of the lighting in the game, because it wants, like, normally during the cutscene, it wants to focus on, like, Link opening up the chest. So that effect then just stays with us until the chest unloads when we exit the sector here. Oh, yep. Unfortunately, Alola accidentally went back up onto the island, so he's going to have to start charging up his Super Swim again. And I think that gave Minimini the lead here.
Yeah, so this is what we were talking about, where even the smallest little mistakes can really swing a race in one person's way. Alright, so we're going to see Mini here. He's going to swim off here. And we're actually going to go head over to this reef here to grab an air refill. The only issue with this reef is it's really easy to clip in, and it's a pain to get out of. Is it actually, I think, clipped in. Oh no, he's still on the outside.
Yeah, he's on the outside. Did he lose all his speed, though? I think he might have...
He lost most of it, if he didn't lose all of it.
Yeah, so now Alola has the edge back again.
Yeah.
Is traveling towards Forsaken Fortress.
Yeah. And these swims are just really...
Oh wait, now Alola lost all his speed. Okay, well, never mind, I guess.
I think he needed an air refill, so...
I don't think so. It looked like he had enough air.
He may not have wanted... not the end of the...
Yeah. Anyway, so Minimini's now made it over to Forsaken Fortress, and using the chest storage, he can clip inside and basically climb up the entire fortress now.
Yep.
Up to the Helmrock King's boss room. We're going to climb up these walls to get up to like the final path here, and then he's also going to climb up this wall with the torch on it. And then once the collision ends, he will just jump into the loading zone.
Yep. And so that obviously skips us getting the hammer. As I kind of alluded to get the hammer in this game, you need to go get the Master Sword, which means finishing Tower of the Gods, and that's just a big pain. It takes forever, so luckily we can actually skip Helmarock. Usually you fight the Helmarock King, who's the giant bird that tossed you away the first time you were here.
But wait, Snacks. If we don't have the Skull Hammer, how are we going to beat the Helmarock King?
I don't know, Jim. I guess we're gonna have to find out.
This is so suspenseful.
I know, right? See that push on Arrow's face where she's looking all concerned? That's us right now. True, Minnie. We use the quiver, obviously.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
that's
man.
why we have to go get it. It all makes sense now.
The routers of this category are so smart.
I know, right? Shout out to the whole team that worked together to make this route even work. Item to slide with the telescope. True.
That would have actually been really cool if you, like, unironically, if one of the ways that you had to beat a boss was by using a seagull to attack it somehow.
That's definitely a missed opportunity. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, so the runners will not be defeating the Helmarock King.
No.
The Helmarock King is one of the boss fights where the way that you exit the boss fight is through a loading zone that's just always active. So as long as you can touch the loading zone somehow, you can just load whatever comes after the fight. Which is not the case for most bosses, but the Helmarock King is the exceptions here.
Yep. So we're going to see both runners do a very long climb here. And then we're just going to kind of jump right past the bird, because you can do that. The game doesn't expect you to, but you can. Also, yes, no Helmarock Super Swim. I don't know if we'll ever see that in the turn race, but...
A very good Helmarock Sip from Minnie right there.
Oh, no.
Ooh, Loa unfortunately missing... I think he missed the ledge grab. I just saw that he fell.
Yeah, he missed the ledge. Interesting enough, Minnie didn't damage down. Usually you'll see our runners damage down here. Just because there is a slightly easier setup, but Minnie just does the big boy setup and just completely ignores that.
Yeah, so the way that the skip works here is the runners are basically the runners will grab... So normally, like when you fight the Helmarock King, you smash his face in with the Skull Hammer once, and then you climb up into the main arena, and as you're climbing up into the main arena, the floor, like, moves inward to lock in place so that the fight actually has a floor it can use. But if you get up here before that without bashing in the Helmrock King's head, you can grab onto like the portions of that floor as if they're a ledge, and the ledges of that floor are angled with like the walls that they're next to in such a way that if you grab far enough in, with low enough health, you can kind of just walk into the wall, and then you can crawl under the walls that surround the arena and jump to the outside.
Yep.
Just like Aloa did there.
Yep.
Minimini went for the slightly faster approach, which instead turns the clip into a frame-perfect roll clip. Because just being able to just walk through the wall is only applicable when Link is at critical health, which is 1.5 hearts or lower. Because that just slightly modifies his hitbox for some reason.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with Link kind of has that animation where he'll start kind of putting his hands on his knees and like starting breathing heavy.
Yeah, he'll start panting due to being tired and on low energy.
Yeah. But now we get more riveting cutscenes.
Now that's interesting. Why does Link have the Master Sword now?
I don't know. I wonder if this happens later in the game too.
I think in this plot, Ganondorf was able to steal the Master Sword also, and Link found it resting by the door.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we should explain what's happening here. So the game kind of just assumes you have the Master Sword if you're at this point. Just because casually you always have it, so it just kind of gives it to you. We'll see this later on too in the final cutscene of the game.
Yeah, the game is going to automatically give us the fully powered Master Sword and the Mirror Shield later on.
Yeah.
This just has to do with the fact that so whenever Link draws his sword and shield in a cutscene in this game, the game will actually give him whatever sword or shield he's supposed to have in his inventory. When it does that, for some reason.
Yeah,
if I had to guess, I would think it's because that's how it like gives him the Master Sword in his inventory or something when he picks it up the first time.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know if we've ever actually fully figured out why this happens. It just kind of...
Yeah, that's gonna need like some decomp work to fully like understand, but we just know that this is what it does. And that it's useful for us in the speedrun. Because if we didn't get the Master Sword here, then we wouldn't really be able to proceed through Ganon's tower very easily. Because we do need to defeat Phantom Ganon at one point to get the light arrows, but Phantom Ganon does not respond to the Hero's Sword at all. Phantom Ganon will only respond to the Master Sword. So it's very convenient that the game just gives us the Master Sword there.
Yeah, it's one of the weird things about Wind Waker is the whole game is just kind of one big, like... Everything works so perfectly for this run to... Every single glitch we do, the game doesn't force you to go do something else. You can just this route.
Yeah. Not to say that there aren't things that get in the way, but like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's ultimately very convenient that it ends up working out like this.
We're gonna see Minnie doing barrier skip.
Yep.
So for those of you who maybe aren't super familiar with Wind Waker or haven't seen this, we have barrier skip. So we're gonna see Minnie doing a little setup here.
Yeah, so the way that barrier skip works is basically with a very precise position and a very precise angle. If you pull a bomb out over Link's head and then drop it on a very specific frame, you will clip through the barrier.
Yep.
The angle and position is extremely precise, which is why you saw Mini doing like those weird movements while he was inside the knockback barrier. He was doing those movements because we know that with those specific movements, we can get into the position that we need for the barrier skip to be successful. And then when he pulled out the bomb, he also began turning the camera at the same time so that he could recognize which frame of the bomb pull animation he was in to drop the bomb on the correct frame. Because if you just try to like look at Link's animation as he takes the bomb out, it's like basically impossible to tell if you're on the correct frame or not.
Yeah, kind of to add on to the other idea of just how convenient this game is that it all works. Can do barrier skip via actor unloading, but actor unloading is currently banned in this category. And so really it's just, as we'll actually see another ledge clip here.
A good trial skip for Mini as well. Yep. Let's see if Aloha gets barrier skip. Yep, alright. A very good barrier skip from Aloha also.
Yeah, so also going to be... I was going to say he was going to try and save his frame. Unfortunately, you can save a couple frames there by sidling to the door.
Yeah, the fastest way is to like drop a bomb behind you to push you slightly into the door.
Yeah.
But I guess Mini didn't quite line up for it correctly or something. I don't exactly know how, like, what the lineup for that strat is because I don't do it, but it is slightly faster than doing the sidle.
Yep. Unfortunately, we get to do the maze, which always has the same answer. So casual, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to fight Phantom again in his room, and his sword will point to the right door. But pattern is always the same, so if you memorize the pattern, just... see if Aloha is trial skip.
Was a frame early on doing the roll for the roll clip there. There it goes. Yeah. Mini, unfortunately, getting the worst RNG on Phantom Ganon. So there's 3 different attacks that Phantom Ganon can do. The one with the red orbs is the worst one, though.
Yeah, and I think the one where he spawns 4 of him is the best, if I remember.
Yeah, the one where he spawns clones in a circle around you is the best one. Yeah. And then there's also the like lightning ball that you have to reflect back, which is like a middle ground.
Yep. Also, it's insane that gold barrier skip by 6.5 seconds. Alright, so now we're going to use that quiver that we went and got. As Jim said, if we were to not grab that quiver, we would have the light arrows in our inventory, but we wouldn't actually have a quiver to hold them. So we just have 0. And we kind of need those, so... We have the stairs that everybody overthought first played this game, sure.
Nice Mini getting the double. Aloha also getting the worst RNG on Phantom Ganon. And now Mini has entered the Puppet Ganon cutscene and was magically given the fully powered Master Sword and the Mirror Shield. Which don't actually help with anything at this point, but...
But they look cool.
They do look cool.
So now we're going to see the Puppet Ganon fight here. In any percent, you can actually skip Puppet Ganon, but that is banned in this category specifically. So we have to do the fight the regular. Both of these guys, though, their Puppet Ganons are both, so we should be in retreat here. Minnie also gets double, or sorry, Aloha gets the double, not Minnie.
By double kill, you mean that he killed Princess Zelda and Ganondorf in one fell swoop during the cutscene.
Yep. I don't know, with how many things Link kills throughout this game, it won't surprise me.
And Minnie gets the first shot on Puppet Ganon. Unfortunately, he's a little too far left for the second. He was going to go for the easier one when Puppet Ganon stays still here.
Yeah.
And nice. It's the third shot.
Really good first phase for me. Yeah, so Puppet
Yes.
Ganon's one of those things that top level runners. This is really a one point in the run where they'll save a fair amount of time over some of our newer runners. Usually you can predict if you just wait for Puppet Ganon to go for his attack phase in first phase. That does make the shots consistent, but it is a bit slow. So we'll see if Aloha ends up getting the fast shots or not. But we're on phase 2. Minnie went for Crypt Shot. I think he got it.
Yeah, he took damage, so I assume he got it. Yeah.
He got it. It looked like he... Yep, so the second phase there, we'd go what's called Crypt Shot, named after Cryptek, one of the older runners in the and it basically just means you can hit Puppet Ganon twice in one phase and saves a little. And no
So
Trog
then-
shot.
Oh. Nice first shot by Aloha. Oh, just
Little low
barely
in the
misses the
second.
second. Yeah. But overall, a pretty good Puppet Ganon for Minimini.
Fortunate miss there for a low.
How did that one miss?
I think
Must have been a little
he
too
must have hit
low.
his tail.
Yeah.
Gets that one though.
Yeah, Puppet Ganon is tricky because at least the first phase is very tricky because it's like, you know, you need to time your shots based on how far away Puppet Ganon is from you, and then if Puppet Ganon is closer, you need to aim higher. If he's further away, you need to aim lower, etc., etc. So it's a very dynamic challenge. For the runners.
So now we're going to see Minnie. He's going to be climbing up this rope super quick. Basically what he's doing is he's jumping off the rope and re-grabbing it. And so you can kind of just zoom up this rope a little bit quicker. Not the most insane rope climb I've ever seen, but still really solid.
Aloha thankfully getting good magic RNG from the keys.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to do extra cycles. Minnie and I going for grapple skip, and he gets it. See if Minnie's able to get the pot lid burn here.
Oh, he
and
gets
he
first
does
try.
get it. First try.
Yeah, so you might be wondering, what exactly is he doing there? Well, basically, he's shooting a fire arrow up, which will, the splash of it will hit the Morth, and then the Morth being on fire will touch the pot lid. Fortunately, this only has like I think a 1 in 6 chance of working.
And he gets a good Morse direction.
Wow. Really good, so far really clean
Yeah.
endgame here. Hopefully he doesn't get Morth Troll, but Mini's so experienced at this point, I don't expect to see any Morth Trolls for him. Quite up there yet.
Okay, so now he has to get the Morth into position by luring it over to the edge.
That looked good.
Yeah. So now he's going for Morth Hover, where he's going to shoot the Morth, have the Morth drop a heart, and then hover up to the heart before it disappears.
Yep.
So he can skip having to use the hook shot at all.
Ooh, he doesn't go for safety heart.
No, I mean, he's currently on world record pace by 30 seconds, so
Yeah. Well,
I think he's just going for it.
We'll see if he can get it, but that would be pretty insane if game 1 of the finals he gets a world record. We'll see if Aloha goes for... Or see how Aloha's Morth RNG here is. Aloha also gets first try.
Yeah, also gets first try.
I believe the record... Last time I checked, it was... I think it was like 18 Morths or something was the record. We are currently keeping a total. Like I said earlier, that Morth thing only has about a 1 in 6 chance, so the fact both runners got it first try is kind of insane. But I want to say the record was 18 different Morths set earlier in this tournament. We are keeping track, because there is a little bit... Oh, 28 out of tourney, 24 in? Jeez. Never mind. Wait, who got 24 in the tournament? I don't remember.
Aloha's getting a bit trolled by the Morth.
Yeah. Okay, he saved it.
Oh.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately the Morths, they can sometimes be big trolls if they want. But he gets it up there.
This is a bit of a sketchy angle to go for. Okay, I think he'll be fine. Oh, no, he's not.
He's not fine.
Oh, he tried to save it with a bomb.
Oh, I guess this is faster than dying.
Yeah.
Alright, so unfortunately, Aloha's gonna lose a bit of time there. Although, looks like this game, assuming nothing happens, which there's always a chance.
Yeah. I mean, even if Mini did die here, he would have to do Morth Hover again, but he wouldn't have to watch the cutscene, so...
Yeah. That's right. Get your hoi hois in chat.
Oh yeah, Loa ran out of bombs and had to get the bomb refill drop. Very conveniently, there just happens to be a bomb drop at the top of the Puppet Cannon room that gives you 30 bombs. Now Mini is going for phase 1 of the Ganondorf fight. Looks like he'll be fine.
Gets a pretty quick first sight.
Yeah, so the Ganondorf fight with one heart is a bit scary because then just one hit will kill Link, of course.
Yep, but Mini has done this fight a million times here. Assuming no Zelda troll, should be seeing a world record.
Yep. And this is a new world record at 1:13:08. A new record by 26 seconds.
GG's to me. That's insane that he sets a world record in a race like this, but
Yeah, big GG's to Mini for that one. And also getting a pretty gnarly best segment on barrier skip.
minus almost 6.5 seconds is kind of insane. And as he said in chat multiple times, apparently this run was garbage. Even he set a world record. That's
Well, one man's garbage is sometimes a world record.
Alright, so it does look like Aloha did end up forfeiting. So GG's to Aloha. In reality, I mean, his run was really solid. Had some mistakes in it, but
Alright, so I don't know what to say other than GG at the moment, but we will be transitioning over here to game 2 in just a minute. Be a five or so minute break here before the next game, so stand up, stretch, get something to eat. We'll run a few ads and knock off pre-rolls for anybody coming in, and we'll see you back here shortly. You two have anything, any final thoughts about this race?
not really. Just GG's to Mini. That's insane that you set that big of a world record like this.
Yeah, GG's Mini. 112 on the next race.
112 or bust, yes.
No pressure though.
All right. So again, just take a few minutes to calm down from that one, and we will see you back here in a few.